The Unburdened Mind. What if I told you the key to true power isn't gaining more control, but learning to let go? Right now, you are carrying invisible chains. Chains of past relationships that ended years ago. Chains of failures that happened decades back. Chains of fears that may never come to pass. You have become a collector of pain, a hoarder of resentment, a prisoner of your own mind. This ends today. This is not about forgiveness, not about positive thinking. This is a psychological skill, a discipline. And over the next hour, I will teach you how to master it. Your freedom starts not with remembering, but with releasing. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Stop curating your museum of pain. Listen. Right now, inside your head, you are running a museum. It's not a museum of art or history or achievement. It's a museum of pain. And you are its curator, its archivist, its sole patron. You walk its halls every single day. You pause at Exhibit A, the betrayal. The lighting is perfect, highlighting every jagged detail of the trust that was shattered. You move to Exhibit B, the injustice. The plaque underneath lists in precise order every wrong, every slight, every time you were overlooked or cheated. Then there's the permanent installation in the center hall, the story of what happened to me. You know it by heart. You give tours of it to anyone who will listen. You might even polish the displays when you're alone, making sure every hurt is still shiny, still potent. This is the collector's fallacy. You believe that by keeping these wounds carefully preserved, you are honoring your experience. You are building a case for why you are the way you are. You are gathering evidence for your defense. But you are not building a case. You are building a cage. You are not gathering evidence. You are hoarding poison. Your identity is becoming fused with the artifacts of your suffering. You are no longer a person who was hurt. You are a hurt person. The museum defines you, and that's the addiction. Revisiting the pain gives you a strange, sick sense of coherence. It explains your inaction. It justifies your bitterness. It becomes your story. But here is the brutal, undeniable truth. You have a choice. You are choosing to be the curator. Every time you replay the tape, you are casting your vote. You are electing the past to govern your present. Let's talk about the admission fee for this museum, because you are paying it in real time, with your real life. This isn't abstract. This is physiological. Emotional baggage is not a metaphor. It is a physical weight. It is a tax levied on your energy, your focus, your very future. The cost of the collection? First, chronic fatigue. Your brain is a supercomputer running a catastrophic, traumatic simulation on a loop. That drains power. It's why you're tired all the time. You're running a full-time museum in your head. Second, creative paralysis. New ideas, new ventures, new paths cannot grow in soil that is packed with the rubble of old disasters. You are trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of scrap metal and broken glass. It will not stand. Third, sabotaged relationships. You walk into new connections with the ghosts of the old ones. You see betrayal in a missed text. You hear abandonment in a rescheduled plan. You're not meeting the new person in front of you. You are forcing them to audition for a role in your old tragedy. You will make them a villain to fit your narrative. You will tax them for crimes they did not commit. This is the direct causal link. The pain you refuse to release is the anchor holding your ship in the harbor of the past. You are paying for the museum with your potential, with your joy, with your freedom. So we begin here, with the first release. We are not waiting for an apology. We are not waiting for understanding. We are not waiting for closure from the outside world. You don't need their permission. Closure is not something you receive. It is something you declare. It is a sentence you pass, not a verdict you await. Here is your instruction. You will do this physically, because this is not a mental game. This is an exorcism. You will get a piece of paper. You will write a letter. This letter is to the person, the institution, the event, or even to the past version of yourself that inhabits your museum. You will write everything. The anger, the details, the how could yous, the I will never forgets. You will not edit. You will not be poetic. You will be raw. You will drain the infection onto the page. And then you will burn it. You will watch the paper blacken and curl. You will watch the words turn to ash. You will feel the heat on your skin. This is not a metaphor. This is a ritual of transformation. You are taking the intangible mental prison and giving it a physical form so that you can physically destroy it. As it burns, you will say this out loud. I am not a museum. I am not an archive. I stop curating what I need to burn. Say it again. I am not a museum. I am not an archive. I stop curating what I need to burn. That's the key. The museum is an identity. The archive is a duty. You are neither. You are a living, breathing being in the present moment. Your duty is not to preservation. Your duty is to life. It's not about the pain you endured. It's about the discipline to release it. This act does not mean what happened was okay. It does not mean you forget. It means you are changing the file format. You are moving the memory from an open, active, bleeding wound in your present to a closed, archived document in your past. It happened. It is a fact. It is no longer the governing truth of your life. You walk out of that smoke and you make a new rule. From this moment forward, you are no longer a collector of slights. You are a curator of strength. You will collect evidence of your resilience, not your victimhood. You will archive your victories, not your defeats. You have a choice: to walk the cold, familiar halls of your pain or to step into the undiscovered country of your future. The museum is a monument to what was done to you. Your life must become a monument to what you choose to do. You have closed the museum. Now you must learn to navigate the silence that's left, because in that silence, you will finally hear the voice you've been burying under all that noise.
Chapter 2. Your past is a data point, not a destiny. Let's get something straight, right now. Your past is not a prophecy. It's not a life sentence handed down by some cruel judge. It is a single line in a spreadsheet. It is one data point. But you? You have built an entire identity, a personality, a worldview around that one point. You have mistaken a single event for the entire graph of your life. And in doing so, you have built your own prison. You were the warden and the inmate. This is the narrative prison. Look at the bars you've fashioned from your own history. I am the divorced one. I am the one who failed. I am the person who was betrayed. I am the one who isn't good with money. You have taken a thing that happened and you have welded it to the core of who you are. It becomes your story. And once you have a story, every decision you make, every risk you avoid, every opportunity you let slip by is filtered through that story. The story dictates your actions. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You think you're telling the story of your life. No, the story is telling you. You believe your narrative is protecting you. It's not. It's paralyzing you. Because if you are the one who fails at relationships, why try again? You've already written the ending. If you are the one who gets passed over, why ask for the promotion? The story says you won't get it. Your past has stopped being a collection of experiences. It has become an identity, and that identity is a cage. You have a choice. You can live inside that story, or you can burn the manuscript and start writing a new one. So we are going to reframe the file. This is a cognitive shift from emotional to analytical, from fatalistic to functional. Think of every significant event in your past, especially the painful ones, the failures, the embarrassments, not as chapters in your tragic biography, but as files on a hard drive. Right now, those files are corrupted. They're bloated with emotional viruses, shame, resentment, self-pity. They're taking up all your mental RAM, slowing your entire system to a crawl. Your job is not to delete the event. Your job is to extract the pure, clean data from the corrupted emotional file and then delete the toxic file itself. Here is the example. That business you started that crashed and burned. The narrative prison says, that proves I'm a failure. I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't have what it takes. That is destiny thinking. It is a life sentence. The data point reframe says, that venture provided a data set. The data shows my initial pricing model was flawed. The data shows I underestimated the marketing runway needed. The data shows the product market fit wasn't as strong as I believed. Do you see the monumental difference? One defines you as a failure. The other defines a set of actions as ineffective. One imprisons you. The other informs your next move. You are not a failure. You are a scientist who just completed an experiment. The experiment failed. Now you have valuable data. Apply it everywhere. That terrible relationship. The narrative says, I have terrible taste. I attract toxic people. The data says, I now have a clear data set on the early red flags I previously ignored. I have data on where my boundaries were too weak. You are not doomed to bad relationships. You are now equipped with better information. That's the key. You strip the event of its world-ending, identity-shattering power. You drain the emotional poison. All that's left is the lesson, the raw, usable intelligence. It's not about who you were. It's about the discipline to see what it taught you. This brings us to the liberating question. It is the single most important pivot you will ever make in your thinking. You must stop asking the dead-end, victim loop question, why did this happen to me? That question has no liberating answer. It leads only to circles of self-pity, blame, and cosmic injustice. It keeps you the star of your own tragedy. You must replace it with the powerful, forward-driving, solution-focused question, what did this teach me? Say it out loud. What did this teach me? This question forces you into the role of a student, not a victim. It forces analysis, not anguish. It pulls the lesson from the wreckage. Why did this happen to me keeps you stuck at the scene of the accident, staring at the twisted metal. What did this teach me gets you the insurance report, the mechanic's assessment, and the driver's ed manual so you never crash the same way again. Data informs. Destiny imprisons. That is not a clever phrase. It is the law. Every time you look backwards, you must choose which lens you are using. The lens of destiny, which magnifies your pain and tells you this is your forever story, or the lens of data, which focuses clearly on cause, effect, and actionable intelligence. Your past is a report, not a verdict. It is feedback, not fate. Start today. Take one thing from your museum of pain and reframe it, not as your destiny, but as your data. Extract the lesson. Write it down in clean, clinical terms. Event X, data gained Y. Then delete the emotional file. Let the shame burn off. Let the resentment evaporate. All that's left is the intelligence. The power is not in what happened. The power is in what you learned. And that power is yours to use for your next move, your next decision, your next bold attempt. You don't need permission from your past to have a different future. You just need to read the data correctly. You've stopped curating the pain. You've reframed your past as data. Now you must learn to act on that data without the deafening noise of everyone else's opinions. Chapter 3. The Bankruptcy of Resentment. Here is a financial statement for your soul. Look at the ledger. Under liabilities, you will find an entry, and it is bleeding you dry. It's called resentment, and you need to understand its true nature. Resentment is not an emotion you feel. It is a debt you pay. You think you're holding a grudge. You are wrong. You took out a loan. The day you were wronged, you walked into a bank of bitterness and you took out a massive, high-interest emotional loan. The collateral? Your peace of mind, your present joy, your future focus, and you have been making payments on it every single day since, with your mental energy, with your smiles you didn't smile, with the opportunities you were too heavy and distracted to see. You are servicing a debt. And here is the sick, brutal twist. The other person has forgotten the transaction. They have moved on. They are living their life unburdened, while you are in a back office somewhere, late at night, calculating the compounded interest on a slight from 5 years ago. You are making emotional payments to a ghost. You are sending your vitality into a void. They are not suffering. You are. You took out the loan, you are paying the VIG, and the interest rate is your one and only life. Let's look at a case study. Let's call him the hostage holder. 10 years ago, his business partner screwed him over, took the clients, the reputation, left him with nothing, a legitimate, profound betrayal. And for a year, the anger was fuel. For 2 years, it was his story. By year 5, it was his identity. He was the guy who was betrayed by X. He brings it up at dinners. He sees X's success as a personal affront. He crafts entire theories about how X will get his comeuppance. He is obsessed. Now, track the two lives. X, he moved on. He built a new company. He maybe feels a twinge of guilt sometimes, but it doesn't occupy his mind. He's not in the courtroom of your thoughts. He's on a beach or in a boardroom, living his life. And the hostage holder? He's stuck. His new ventures are half-hearted because part of him is still fighting the last war. His relationships are guarded because you can't trust anyone. He's creatively sterile because all his mental bandwidth is consumed by a historical grievance. His growth is stunted. His life is on pause. He is paying on that debt. And for what? X isn't receiving the invoices. The hostage holder is just bankrupting himself, dollar by dollar, day by day. You have a choice. You can continue to be the sole financier of your own misery, or you can do what any sane person does with a crushing, illegitimate debt. You declare bankruptcy. You declare emotional bankruptcy. This is not forgiveness. Forget forgiveness. That's a moral concept, and we are not in the morality business right now. We are in the freedom business. Forgiveness is about them. Bankruptcy is about you. It is a purely selfish, strategic, and necessary financial decision for your soul. You are not saying what they did was okay. You are saying, I am no longer willing to pay for it. You void the debt. You unilaterally declare it null and void. You close the account. There's an old brutal truth you've probably heard. Holding a grudge is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. It's true, but let's go further. It's not just like that, it is that. Every replay of the memory, every bitter fantasy, every fresh wave of anger, that's you lifting the glass and swallowing another mouthful of toxin. And you're checking the news to see if they are sick. They're not. You are. The poison is in your system. It's corroding you from the inside. So stop drinking it. Void the debt. Close the account. The ritual is internal, and it is a declaration. You say to yourself, the account is closed. The debt is void. I am no longer the payment processor for this pain. You do not send a letter. You do not make a call. This is not for them. You don't need their permission to cancel a debt they aren't even aware they owe. This is you in the quiet of your own mind, shredding the paperwork, burning the ledger. That's the key.
The power was never in the resentment. The power was in the illusion that by holding on to it, you were somehow winning or protecting yourself or keeping the score. You weren't. You were losing. You were exposing yourself. You were keeping yourself locked in a cage of your own making. It's not about the injustice. It's about the discipline to walk away from a losing game. When you close the account of resentment, a shocking thing happens. All that energy, the mental cash flow you were pouring into that black hole, it gets freed up. It returns to you. Your focus sharpens. Your capacity for new things expands. The chronic fatigue of resentment begins to lift. You are no longer a debtor. You are solvent. You have reclaimed your emotional capital to invest in your actual life. Look at your ledger right now. Find that debt, the one to the parent, the ex, the old friend, the former boss. See the payments you're still making. See the interest compounding. And then make the only sane decision. Declare bankruptcy. Void it. Shut it down. You have a choice: to be the bitter historian of a forgotten war or the wealthy architect of your new future. The debt is yours to cancel. You've canceled the old debts. Now you must learn the most valuable skill of all: how to protect your newfound emotional capital from the constant withdrawals of other people's opinions. Chapter 4. Fear is a liar you've promoted to advisor. Think about your inner circle, the voices you listen to, the counsel you take. There is a voice in that circle that is a pathological liar. It has one job: to scream danger at the top of its lungs, and you, for some reason, have given it a promotion. You've sat it down at the boardroom table of your mind. You've asked its opinion on every major life decision. You've let it veto your dreams. You've let it draft the itinerary for your life. And it has been wrong, consistently, catastrophically wrong. You must understand fear's true job. It is not a truth teller. It is not a strategist. It is not a wise elder. It is a primitive, shrieking alarm system wired into the deepest, oldest part of your brain. Its sole evolutionary purpose is survival in a world of immediate physical threats. See a lion? Fear screams, run. Hear a sudden noise in the dark? Fear screams, hide. That system saved your ancestors, but in your modern life, there are no lions. Yet the alarm is still wired, hair trigger sensitive, and now it's misfiring, constantly. It screams danger when you see an unanswered email. It shrieks threat when you think about asking for a raise. It unleashes a full-blown siren when you consider posting your art online, or asking someone on a date, or moving to a new city. The alarm is identical to the one for the lion, but the threat is not a predator, it's possibility. Fear has one setting: catastrophe. It cannot distinguish between a life-ending event and a life-beginning opportunity. It labels them both as mortal threats. And here's where you failed. You listened. You didn't question the alarm. You promoted it. You gave it a title: advisor. Let's audit the advisor's bad counsel. Let's look at the cost of taking its advice. Fear advised, don't apply for that promotion. You're not ready. They'll laugh at you. Cost: a higher salary, career growth, professional respect. You stayed small. Fear advised, don't tell them how you really feel. You'll be rejected. It will be a disaster. Cost: a genuine connection, a relationship that could have been, the peace of authenticity. Fear advised, don't launch the project. It's not perfect. People will criticize it. Cost: your creative expression, your contribution, the business that could have changed your life. Fear's advice is always the same: withdraw, play small, hide, avoid. It has never once advised you to be courageous, to expand, to connect, to shine, because its job is not to make you happy or fulfilled. Its job is to keep you safe. And in its twisted, primitive logic, safe means invisible, means inert, means stuck. You have been taking life guidance from a system designed to prevent life from happening. This ends now. It's time for a corporate restructuring in your mind. You are demoting fear. You're not firing it. You can't. The alarm system is hardwired, but you are stripping it of its undue authority. You're changing its job description. Here is the new protocol. When fear speaks, when that cold fist clenches in your gut, when the voice of what if starts listing catastrophes, you do not obey, you do not argue, you acknowledge. You say this internally with firm clarity. Thank you for the alert. Noted. Now stand down. Thank it, because it is trying to protect you in its broken, malfunctioning way. Note it. You register the signal. You hear it. And then the command. Now stand down. This is you, the conscious CEO of your life, giving an order to a panicked intern. You are taking back control. Fear gets a seat on the bus. It never gets the wheel. Repeat that. Fear gets a seat on the bus. It never gets the wheel. That's the key. It can be present. It can yell from the back seat, but it does not get to steer. It does not get to decide the destination or the route. You were driving. The seat of courage, of logic, of your values, of your vision, that is where you sit. Fear is a passenger, a loud, obnoxious, irrational passenger. You hear it, and you keep driving. You have a choice. You can continue to let the malfunctioning alarm dictate your life's architecture, or you can thank it for its concern and build the damned thing anyway. This is a daily, moment-to-moment discipline. You will feel the fear when you hit send on the important email. Thank you. Noted. Stand down. Click. You will feel it when you speak up in the meeting. Thank you. Noted. Stand down. Speak. You will feel it when you set the boundary. Thank you. Noted. Stand down. Set it. It's not about the absence of fear. It's about the discipline to act alongside it. Brave people are not fearless. They are intimate with fear. They have just revoked its voting rights. Every time you demote fear, you dilute its power. You retrain the system. You teach the primitive brain that the email did not kill you, that the rejection was survivable, that the attempt, even in failure, was not a mortal wound. You teach it that the real danger was not in trying, but in the slow death of never trying at all. Stop taking advice from a liar. Stop letting a system designed for survival make decisions about your fulfillment. You don't need permission from your own panic to move forward. You just need to thank it for its opinion and then do the thing anyway. You've demoted the liar. Now you must build a new counsel. You must learn to distinguish the quiet, true voice you've been drowning out from all the noise.
Chapter 5. The Heavy Weight of Other People's Expectations. You are tired. Not the kind of tired sleep fixes. A deeper fatigue. The fatigue of a performance. You have been carrying a weight so long, you've forgotten it's not part of your body. It's the weight of other people's expectations. And it is crushing you. This is the invisible cage. There are no bars you can see, but you feel them with every move you don't make, every word you don't say, every path you don't take. The script was handed to you by your parents, your culture, your partner, the ghost of society. The script says, get this degree, secure this job, buy this house, achieve this title by this age, marry this kind of person, have these children, want these things. You are living a life of implied should. And from the outside, it might look fine. It might look successful. But inside, you are wearing a costume. The suit of the respectable professional when you feel like an artist. The demeanor of the easygoing friend when you are boiling with unspoken opinions. The life of the settled parent when a part of you yearns for wildness and freedom. You are playing a role. And the exhaustion you feel isn't from the work, it's from the acting. It's the psychic toll of contorting your authentic self into a shape that pleases, that satisfies, that meets the unspoken agreement you never actually signed. You are trying to earn a love, approval, a respect that was made conditional upon your compliance. And the cage is invisible because you polished the bars yourself. You thought you were building a life. You were building a prison to make your guards comfortable. This cannot be sustained forever. There is an inevitable breaking point, the collision point.
We mislabel it as a midlife crisis or burnout. It is neither. It is a rebellion. It is your authentic self after decades of silent suffocation finally hitting the emergency brake. The body says no. The mind goes blank. The passion evaporates. You sit in the driveway of the house you were supposed to want, in the car you were supposed to drive, and you feel nothing. Or you feel a deep, resonant no. That feeling is not the problem. That feeling is the signal. It is the truest part of you screaming that the script is a lie. The exhaustion, the apathy, the sudden desire to burn it all down, that's not a malfunction. That's a correct diagnosis. You have been carrying a weight that was never yours to carry, and your soul is finally refusing to take another step. You have a choice. You can douse the signal with more distraction, numb it with obligation, and march further into the cage. Or you can listen to it. You can decide that the collision point is not a crisis, but a crossroads. It is time to drop the weight. You do this through an expectations audit. This is not a gentle reflection. This is a forensic accounting of your soul. You take a piece of paper and you draw a line down the center. On the left, their dreams. On the right, my dreams. Now you audit your life category by category. Your career. Whose dream is this title, this path? Is your primary motivation pride for them, fear of their disappointment, or is it your own genuine fire? Your relationships. Are you playing a role of the good partner, child, or friend that requires you to silence parts of yourself? Your possessions. Your home, your car, your lifestyle, are they badges of success for someone else's eyes or true containers for your own joy? Be brutally honest. You will find ghost dreams haunting your left column. The dream of a parent who wanted you to be a lawyer. The dream of a partner who needs you to be constantly cheerful. The dream of a social circle that values a certain kind of wealth. These are the weights. And then you do the only sane thing. You put them down. You are not required to carry dreams you did not dream. Put them down. Say it out loud. I am not required to carry dreams I did not dream. This is your declaration of independence. It is not an act of rebellion against others. It is an act of fidelity to yourself. You are not tearing down their dreams. You are simply handing them back. This is yours. I cannot carry it for you anymore. That's the key. The weight was never yours. You volunteered for a duty that didn't exist. You assumed a debt you did not owe. It's not about their approval. It's about the discipline to define your own terms. Putting the weight down will feel like loss at first. You may feel a vacuum where the pressure was. You may face confusion, even resentment from those who benefited from your compliance. Let them be confused. Let them be resentful. You don't need their permission to set down a burden that was crippling you. Your new task is not to figure out your entire life immediately. It is simply to stop carrying what isn't yours, one weight at a time. The career script, the perfect parent fantasy, the relentless grind of appearances. Put it down. The moment you do, a miraculous thing happens. The energy you were using to carry that colossal weight is freed. It floods back into you. That chronic exhaustion begins to lift. The brain fog clears. A space opens. A terrifying, beautiful, empty space. And in that space, for the first time in a long time, you can hear a faint, true voice. Your own. It might only whisper at first. It might only say what it doesn't want. That's enough. Start there. You have a choice. To live the rest of your life as a monument to other people's hopes, or to become the architect of your own. You've put down their dreams. Now you must face the quiet. You must learn to listen to the voice that's been waiting patiently beneath all that noise.
Chapter 6. The Myth of Closure. You were waiting for a fairy tale,
A final chapter, a last word. You are standing at the door of a room in your past, waiting for someone to walk out, hand you a neatly wrapped box with a bow on it, and say, "I'm sorry, here is the explanation. Now you may leave." You believe this box is called closure, and as long as you believe that, you will remain stuck in that hallway, waiting for a delivery that is never, ever coming. Let's dismantle the fairy tale. Closure is not something you receive, it is something you declare. The idea that the past owes you a perfect, emotionally satisfying ending is a fantasy. It is a story we tell ourselves to avoid the hard, adult work of moving on. We think, if I could just understand why, if they would just admit what they did, if I could get that one final conversation, then I could be free. This is an illusion. It is the museum of pain with a fancy new wing. You are just curating the unsolved mysteries exhibit. Waiting for closure from the outside world is just another form of staying stuck. It is handing the keys to your present peace over to a ghost. You are giving someone from your past, who may be oblivious, unrepentant, or even dead, a permanent remote control for your emotional state. You press pause on your own life, waiting for their signal to press play. That signal will not come. The past doesn't do neat bows. It's messy, it's unresolved, and it is utterly indifferent to your need for a satisfying narrative arc. You have a choice. You can wait at the door for the rest of your life, or you can realize you are the one holding the doorknob. You can turn it. You can close it yourself. This is where we implement the self-closure protocol. You are not seeking an answer. You are performing a ritual. You are drawing the line yourself. Step 1. Write the unsent letter. You've done this before to burn. Now you do it to speak the full, unfiltered truth. Write to the person, the institution, the version of yourself that failed. Say everything. The rage, the grief, the unanswered questions, the "I'll never understand." Spill it all onto the page. This letter is for the record. It is your testimony. You are not writing it to send. You are writing it to witness your own truth. Step 2. Speak the truth to the empty chair. This is theater for an audience of one, you. Place an empty chair. Say the words out loud. Scream them, cry them, whisper them. You hurt me. I am angry. This was not okay. You were not talking to them. You were giving a voice, a sound, a physical vibration to the pain that has been echoing silently in your head. You were making it real in the room so you can deal with it in the room. Step 3. Ritualize the end yourself. This is the act of closure. It might be burning the letter. It might be burying it. It might be tearing it into 1,000 pieces and flushing it away. As you do it, you say the declaration. It is over. I am closing the book. The story ends here by my hand. You are the author. Write the end. Closure isn't given, it's taken. Repeat that. Closure isn't given, it's taken. You are not a passive recipient. You are an active sovereign, reclaiming territory. You are planting your flag on the border of your past and saying, "This goes no further. The jurisdiction of this pain ends here." Once you have taken closure, you install a new filter for your mind, the new standard. From this point forward, every time a thought, a memory, a resentment about that past event surfaces, you ask one ruthless question. Does this thought move me forward or does it keep me here? That's your litmus test. Does replaying the betrayal move you forward? No, it keeps you in the betrayal. Does wondering what if move you forward? No, it keeps you in the alternative past. Does planning a revenge fantasy move you forward? Absolutely not. It chains you to the very person you claim to want freedom from.
If it keeps you here, you close the door yourself. You consciously, deliberately redirect your mind. I have closed that door. We are not going back there. You do this once, 10 times, 100 times. You train your brain like you'd train a dog. When it goes to that old door, you lead it firmly away. You don't need their permission to stop thinking about them. You are the bouncer of your own brain. You decide what thoughts get to stay on the premises. That's the key. The power was never in their apology. The power is in your decision. It's not about understanding the past. It's about the discipline to end its story. You may never understand. You may never get the apology. You must become okay with the unresolved, because the only thing more painful than an unresolved past is a surrendered future. Waiting for closure is a form of self-sabotage dressed up as a noble quest. It feels like you're working on the problem, when in reality, you're just polishing the chains. Stop waiting for the fairy tale. Write your own ending. Declare it done. Your forward momentum is the only closure you will ever need. You've closed the old doors. Now you must build a new room. A quiet, strong, unshakable center where you alone make the rules.
Chapter 7. Grieving the Ghost Ship. There is a different kind of pain. It's not the sharp sting of a betrayal. It's not the heavy weight of resentment. It's a hollow, haunting ache. It's the pain of a future that never arrived, the life you didn't live, the person you didn't become, the love that didn't last. This is the pain of the ghost of potential, and it can paralyze you as completely as any tangible wound. You are not mourning a thing that was. You are grieving a thing that could have been. The perfect relationship you played out in your head with someone who was, in reality, never going to be that person. The business idea you researched for years but never launched, now living in your mind as a towering, successful empire. The alternate life path, the artist, the traveler, the rebel, that you see in vivid, romantic detail flickering beside the reality of your actual choices. This is more than nostalgia. This is an active attachment to a phantom. You are holding a funeral for a person who never existed in a life that never happened, and you keep holding it over and over. You must understand this metaphor. You have built a ghost ship in the harbor of your mind. You crafted every detail of this vessel. The sleek hull, the powerful engines, the destination painted on the bow, perfect life. You stocked it with fantasies of how it would feel to sail it, the freedom, the respect, the love, the fulfillment. You built this ship plank by phantom plank for years. But here's the truth. That ship was never meant to sail. It cannot. It is made of memory, fantasy, and regret. It has no engine that works in the real world. It is a conceptual weight. Yet, you go down to the docks every single day and you stare at it. You polish its decks. You imagine the voyages. You mourn the fact that it's still tied to the dock. You blame yourself, the world, the weather, for why it never left. The ghost ship is not a monument to your potential. It is a tomb for your present action. The cost of tending to this boast is your entire real life. Every hour you spend dreaming of that ship is an hour you are not building a real boat or learning to sail the one you already have. It drains the color and meaning from your actual tangible existence, because reality can never compete with a perfect fantasy. It keeps you in a state of perpetual quiet disappointment. You are homesick for a place you've never been. You have a choice. You can be the eternal caretaker of a beautiful, seaworthy fantasy, or you can become the captain of a real, imperfect, but moving vessel. It is time for a burial at sea. This is not a passive letting go. It is an active, deliberate ceremony of release. You must give this ghost a proper funeral, because it is a loss. The loss of a dream is real.
It must be grieved. Here's the ritual. Go to a quiet place. Close your eyes. Visualize your ghost ship in perfect detail. See the name on the hull. See the life it represented. Then you must do the brave thing. You must sink it. In your mind's eye, watch it sail out into open water, and then, deliberately, let it be consumed by the sea. Watch it go down. Feel the loss. Feel the grief. That grief is not your enemy. It is the proof that the dream mattered. Let it move through you. As it sinks, speak the words aloud. You were a beautiful dream, but you are not my life. I release you. Then you speak the core truth. You must grieve the dream to embrace the real. Mourn it. Bury it. Sail on. Mourn it. Give it that moment of true sorrow. Bury it. Let it go to the depths. Sail on. Turn your gaze physically to your real surroundings, to your real relationships, to your real actionable next step. That's the key. You cannot skip the grief. You must pass through it. The phantom life has a hold on you because you haven't acknowledged its death. You have to hold the funeral to inherit the real estate of your present. It's not about the perfect fantasy. It's about the discipline to invest in the imperfect reality. From this day forward, you install a new rule. When you find yourself down at the docks, staring at the ghost ship, you say this: "That is not my ship." And you turn around. You walk back to your workshop. You pick up a tool. You sand a rough edge on your real boat. You plot a course for next week in the real world. You don't need permission to stop fantasizing. You need the courage to face what is real and to build from there. The ghost ship is a work of art. Your life is a work in progress. One is finished, static, and dead. The other is alive, malleable, and waiting for your hands. Your energy, your creativity, your love, these are finite resources. You are pouring them into a ghost. Recall that energy, invested here, in the messy, difficult, glorious project of your actual life. Grieve the ghost, then sail. You've buried the phantom. Now you must face the most fundamental question of all. What will you build with the raw materials of your real, unvarnished life?
Morning. Pack for the journey ahead, not the battles behind. Chapter 8. Emotional Inventory. What are you still carrying? Here's a question you probably haven't asked yourself today, or ever. What did you pack for your day? I'm not talking about your lunch, your phone, your keys. I'm talking about your emotional baggage, the invisible load you shoulder the moment your eyes open. Because every morning you perform a ritual you don't even notice. You walk to the closet of your mind and you start packing a backpack for the day. You call it waking up. I call it loading burdens. You reach in and pack the unresolved argument from last night. Zip. You pack the anxiety about a meeting that's still 3 days away. Zip. You pack the lingering sting of a coworker's offhand comment from last week. Zip. You pack the old story about not being good enough. Zip. You pack the fear of a future that hasn't happened. Zip. This is the daily backpack. And you genuinely wonder why you're emotionally winded by 10 a.m., why your focus is shattered, why a minor inconvenience feels like a crushing blow. It's not because the day is hard. It's because you started it carrying 100 pounds of yesterday's and tomorrow's weight. You're trying to hike today's trail with a backpack full of bricks from old construction sites. No wonder you're exhausted. You're not living in the present. You're conducting a daily archaeological dig into your own pain and then carrying the heaviest fossils around with you. It's time to stop being a pack mule for your own history. We are conducting a ruthless unpack right now. This is not passive listening. This is active surgery. I want you to pause. Seriously, stop. Get a pen or open a note on your phone. I'll wait. We are listing the 5 heaviest items in your backpack today, not in your life. The 5 specific emotional weights you consciously or unconsciously picked up this morning. The slights, the worries, the resentments, the fears. Name them.
Be brutally specific. 1. Is it the dread of a difficult conversation you're avoiding? 2. Is it the shame over a mistake you made yesterday? 3. Is it the simmering anger at someone who didn't thank you? 4. Is it the crushing pressure of a deadline you feel you can't meet? 5. Is it the ghost of an old failure whispering that you'll fail again? Write them down. I'll wait. Now, for each item, you are going to ask one ruthless, non-negotiable question. Look at the first heavy thing you wrote down and ask, does carrying this make me stronger or just heavier? Does carrying the dread of that conversation make you more prepared, more courageous? Or does it just drain your energy, making you weaker and less likely to have it? It just makes you heavier. Does carrying the shame over the mistake make you more careful and competent today? Or does it just cloud your judgment and make you timid? It just makes you heavier. Does carrying the anger make you more powerful and focused today? Or does it just poison your mood and alienate you from the present moment? It just makes you heavier. You will find in almost every single case, the answer is heavier. These items are not tools. They are not fuel. They are pure dead weight. They do not serve the person you need to be today. They serve only to anchor you to a past moment or a fictional future. That's the key. You are confusing the burden with the lesson. The lesson is light. It's a single note. Communicate clearly next time. Double-check the numbers. The burden, the shame, the dread, the anger is a 50-pound slab of concrete attached to that note. You only need the note. You can drop the concrete. This brings you to the choice point, a realization that changes everything. You are the packer. You, not your boss, not your partner, not your past, not your anxiety. You. You decide what goes in the bag every single morning. You have been on autopilot, letting every stray thought and emotion jump into the backpack. That ends now. Your new packing principle is pack for the journey ahead, not the battles behind. What does your today require? It requires focus, not yesterday's distraction. It requires calm, not tomorrow's anxiety. It requires strength, not last year's resentment. So you pack accordingly. You choose to pack intentionality. You pack a single clear priority. You pack the determination to speak your truth. You pack the faith that you can handle what comes. You leave the rest in the closet. You don't need permission to unpack the burdens others have handed you or that you've manufactured yourself. You are the sole authority on what you carry. It's not about feeling everything. It's about the discipline to choose what's useful. The ritual is simple. Each morning, as you mentally prepare for the day, ask, what am I packing? And then choose, consciously, deliberately. If an old weight tries to jump in, you look at it and say, no, you do not serve today's mission. You stay here. This is how you build emotional muscle. This is how you stop being exhausted by 10 a.m. You have a choice to walk through your days bent double under a heap of old ghosts, or to stand up straight, carrying only what you need to move forward. You've lightened your load. Now you must learn the ultimate skill, how to walk that lighter, clearer path with unbreakable consistency. The world will try to hand you new bricks. Your discipline is your refusal to take them.
Chapter 9. The discipline of release is a daily practice. You've had a moment of release. You burned a letter. You sank a ghost ship. You put down a weight. And for a moment, you felt it. The lightness, the clear air, the freedom. And then, 2 days later, the thought crept back in. The resentment flickered. The old anxiety tightened its familiar grip. And you thought you failed. You thought, it didn't work. I'm still broken. You didn't fail. You misunderstood the assignment. Listen closely. Letting go is not a one-time event. It is not a surgery where you remove the tumor and you're cured. That is a fairy tale for spiritual tourists. Real transformation, real freedom is not an event. It is a practice. It is a discipline. It is daily mental hygiene. Think about your body. You don't brush your teeth once in your 20s and declare your dental health solved for life. You brush them every single day. You shower daily. You move your body. Why? Because dirt accumulates. Plaque builds up. Toxins are a constant byproduct of living.
Your mind is no different. You are generating mental and emotional residue every single day. Stray worries, petty irritations, old stories that try to replay, new fears that attach to old wounds. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you are alive and interacting with the world. Letting go is a muscle. And like any muscle, if you only use it once in a grand, dramatic moment, it will be weak. It will atrophy. The world will hand you a new weight, and you won't have the strength to put it down. You have a choice. You can wait for the next catastrophic emotional buildup that forces a painful, dramatic purge, or you can build the muscle of daily release. You can make it as routine, as non-negotiable as brushing your damn teeth. This is why you need the daily release ritual. A 5-minute practice, done first thing in the morning to set the tone for your day and train your release muscle. Here is the protocol. You will do this every morning before you check your phone, before you engage with the world. Minute 1 to 2. Name it. Sit quietly, breathe. Ask, what is one thought, one feeling, one story that does not serve the person I need to be today? Listen. It might be a big one, an old grief. It might be a small one, dread for a mundane task. It doesn't matter the size. Name it specifically. The anxiety about the quarterly review, the lingering irritation from the argument with my partner last night, the story that I'm not a real writer. Say it out loud or in your mind. You are identifying the plaque. Minute 3 to 4, visualize dropping it. Now you let it go. Create a simple, powerful mental image. See the thought or feeling as a literal object, a heavy stone, a burning coal, a locked box. And then, in your mind's eye, see yourself setting it down, dropping it into a flowing river, placing it on a shelf and walking away, watching it dissolve into smoke. The image doesn't matter, the act does. You are not analyzing it, you are not fighting it, you are simply, consciously choosing to drop the weight. Feel the release in your body, the slight exhale, the shoulder drop. Minute 5, state your new focus. This is the repacking from a place of choice. You've emptied a hand. Now what will you hold? Declare a single positive focus for your day, not a to-do list, a quality. Speak it firmly. Today, my focus is calm effectiveness. Today, my focus is open-hearted connection. Today, my focus is relentless creation. You are telling your brain what to pick up instead of the weight. This 5-minute ritual is your daily training. It is how you build the reflex of release. When a slight happens at noon, you've already practiced the motion. You can think, that's a stone for tomorrow's ritual, and you leave it there, instead of picking it up and carrying it all afternoon. You are becoming the master of your own mental cargo. Freedom is a daily discipline. Let that sink in. Freedom is not a place you arrive at and then hang a mission accomplished banner. It is a path you walk, and the discipline is the act of clearing the debris from the path every single morning. You don't just let go once, you let go today, and then you let go again tomorrow. That's the key. The victory is not in the singular grand gesture of release. The victory is in the mundane, repeated, unglamorous practice of it. It's not about achieving permanent emptiness. It's about the discipline of daily cleansing. The world is a dusty place. You will get dirty. The practice is the shower. You don't need permission to do this. You don't need a special certification in letting go. You just need 5 minutes and the decision to show up for yourself. This practice is the ultimate act of self-authority. You are the curator of your inner space. You are the janitor of your soul. You decide what stays and what gets taken out with the trash. Stop waiting for a one-time magic bullet. It doesn't exist. Your power lies in the daily, repeated choice. The muscle you build with this ritual will become your greatest asset. It will allow you to walk through chaos with a center of calm, to face provocation without picking up the bait, to live lightly, not because your life is weightless, but because your release muscle is strong. You have a choice, to be buried by the accumulating dust of every day, or to clean your house each morning. The discipline of release clears the space. Now you must decide, what will you consciously, deliberately, and powerfully build in that clean, strong, free space you fought so hard to create.
Chapter 10. The Unburdened Mind is your greatest weapon. This is the synthesis, the point of it all.
Everything we have done, every letter burned, every expectation audited, every ghost ship buried, every daily ritual performed has had one singular strategic objective: to forge your mind into a weapon. Not a weapon of aggression, but of creation. Not for attack, but for focus. Your unburdened mind is not a luxury. It is your greatest competitive advantage in a world drowning in distraction, buried in baggage, and asleep at the wheel. Let's connect the dots. A mind free of the museum of pain is a mind with space to think, not just remember. A mind that sees the past as data is a mind that analyzes, not agonizes. A mind that has declared bankruptcy on resentment has reclaimed its emotional capital to invest. A mind that has demoted fear can finally hear the quiet voice of intuition. A mind that has dropped the weight of others' expectations moves with its own gravity. A mind that takes its own closure owns its narrative. A mind that grieves its ghosts is free to build with present materials. A mind that does a daily emotional inventory travels light. This is the strategic advantage. It is clarity, it is speed, it is ruthless prioritization. While others are bogged down replaying yesterday's arguments, you are solving tomorrow's problems. While they are seeking permission from ghosts, you are executing decisions. While they are exhausted from carrying invisible weight by 10 a.m., your energy is just hitting its stride, focused like a laser on what matters. A mind that is not a storage unit for old pain is a clean, well-lit workshop for building the future. It is more creative because it isn't echoing with criticism. It is more decisive because it isn't debating ancient history. It is resilient because a single setback is just that, a single data point, not proof of a doomed identity. Now, feel the contrast. Look back at the person in Chapter 1. That person was a curator, weighed down by the relics of every wound, exhausted from giving daily tours of their own suffering. Their energy was spent on preservation, not creation. They were reactive, a pinball slammed by every past memory and future worry. They were stuck, convinced their story was written in the stone of what had been done to them. Now, look at the person you are becoming. You are an architect. You travel light, carrying only the tools and blueprints you need. Your energy is spent on building. You are strategic. You assess the landscape, choose your point of attack, and move. You are in motion. You understand that your story is written daily by the choices you make from a clear, uncluttered space. You are not defined by what you carry. You are defined by what you create. You have moved from the heavy, suffocating air of the museum to the clear, open sky of the construction site. This brings us to the final command. This is not a hopeful suggestion. It is a directive based on the work you have done. Your past is a story. It is a narrative, a compilation of facts and feelings. You have read it. You have learned from it. You have, where necessary, rewritten its ending. It sits on the shelf. It is not the book you are currently writing. Your future is a blueprint. It is not a fantasy. It is not a ghost ship. It is a plan. It is a series of deliberate, actionable decisions. It is lines on a page waiting to be made real. It is possibility rendered into intention. The unburdened mind is the architect. This is the core of everything. You have cleaned the workshop. You have sharpened the tools. You have cleared the ground. This mind, clear, focused, unencumbered by ancient debts and phantom fears, this is your most critical tool. It is the thing that can read the blueprint of your future and command the hands to build it. It sees the path. It calculates the cost. It withstands the pressure. The unburdened mind is the master builder. And so, the command. Now build. Do not wait for a better moment. The better moment is the one you create. Do not wait for permission. Your permission comes from your own declared sovereignty. Do not wait until you feel 100% ready. You are ready enough with the clarity you have fought for. Build the conversation you've been avoiding. Build the first draft of the thing you've been dreaming of. Build the boundary that will protect your peace. Build the habit that will strengthen your body. Build the connection that will warm your soul. Build one thing, then build the next. The discipline of release was never about emptiness for its own sake. It was about creating space for what matters. You have created the space. The vacuum demands to be filled. Fill it with intention. Fill it with action. Fill it with the life you once only ghosted in your dreams. You have a choice. You always have a choice to look back at the museum or forward to the skyline you are capable of creating. The unburdened mind is your weapon. The future is your sight. The success blueprint is in your hands. Now.